Hello and welcome. I hope you're safe and well. Today's exciting episode. Well, I think the word exciting might be a little bit of a stretch. I take this jacket, finally remove the beaded trim and I pull it apart, and now this gorgeous tweed jacket is ready to be beaded again, and I can use all these beads on something else. Yeah, I still haven't done the cuffs, but I did the rest. And the jacket is so cute. It's perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Perfect jacket. So I've been working on beading two jackets recently. The pink one with the blue periwinkle blue beads, and there's also some pink beads in there, and the Paris jacket which has blue beads, and now I'm sort of sprinkling over bright green ones. And this one here, I've been meaning to, this is like the second or third jacket that I ever made when I started this channel several years ago. And I loved it, but the beaded trim is a little too bulky. So I'm going to take the beaded, carefully take the beaded trim off and deconstruct it, use all the beads on something else, and just embellish, like stitch beads directly onto this tweed jacket, because I love this jacket and I want it to be a more practical, wearable, everyday jacket. Whereas this beaded trim is fabulous, but yeah, you have to be a little too careful when you wear it. So this is just one last lingering look at it. If you want to see a video where I make the jacket start to finish, then I'll put a link in the description box below. And there's also a separate video on how I made the beaded trim. Basically, you just get a big frame, like a painting frame, take the canvas off, staple gun some netting to it, two layers of netting to it, and then you measure how much trim you want, and then you just make a sequined base, and then you do the large beads, the medium-sized beads, and then the small beads on the top. And then you have to hand stitch the beaded trim to the jacket, which is by far the most technically demanding piece of the entire process, which is why I stopped making beaded trim, because hand stitching the finished trim to the jacket is just, it's an absolute nightmare. So that is what the jacket looked like. Now it is time to, you can see I've already started, carefully unpick all the stitches that hold the trim to the actual jacket. And yes, I've got my thread cutters, and this takes forever. You just basically do one stitch at a time. It is really frustrating if you try and do it really quickly, but just accept that you have to be slow and careful to not wreck the jacket, and it's fine. And there we go. It's such a beautiful jacket, and I love this. This is just the perfect silk lining for that jacket. Anyway, I will bead that at some point, but here we go. So this is what the back of it looks like. As I said, You don't have to use a frame when you make it. When I first started making beaded trim, I didn't put it on a frame. I just measured out the base for the trim and then beaded straight into it, and it's so much more difficult. A frame is like $10, $20, so cheap. Like when you factor in how, like if you paid yourself per hour to make your own clothes, then it would just work out so much cheaper to buy one cheap painting, take the canvas off, staple gun the things on. So I totally recommend using a frame, because I wish I had used a frame from the very start. Anyway, so that's what the back looked like, and this is what it looks like from the front. So the big blobs of seed beads are called bead bugs or bead clusters, and I made them separately, then stitched them on. As I said, there's a whole video about it, but basically you stitch the big bits in first, big beads in first, then the medium ones, and then the small ones. So to take it off, I have to do the opposite. So I'm taking off just cutting a single run of pink ones all the way around and then unthreading it. It's so painstaking. If you wanted to, you could just cut everything and then you just have a big old mess. But I'm sort of doing it in the reverse order so that I'll end up with a bag of small pink beads, a bag of medium-sized pink beads, a bag of orange beads. And so I'll be able to, when I make the next thing, everything will be ready, all organized and ready to use. So here you can see the base that I had is a beige sequin, and the sequins are each, you can get, these are 10 millimeter or 1 centimeter. Standard sequins are 4 millimeter and 6 millimeters. So these are bigger. I have I went around to dance beading stores and embellishment stores that catered to dance studios and things like that, and you can get 10 millimeter and 12 millimeter ones. You can also sometimes get two 20 millimeter, which is 2 centimeters, and they're quite big. So they're just really good for a base. You can use, when I first started making beaded trim, I used standard 6 millimeter ones, but oh my gosh, the smaller the sequins, the more you have to stitch on and the longer it takes, obviously. So if you can get your hands on 10 millimeter or 1 centimeter or 1.2 centimeter, like the size of your one of your fingernails, if you've got, just normal fingernails, not long ones, they're just so much better because it just provides a flat base and it's easier to bead into, but also once you've made the beaded trim, it's much easier to stitch onto a jacket. It just so much easier. Anyway, so here we go. They're all in groups. I love those tennis ball ones, but I'm not sure whether to use them or not when I recreate this jacket on the sort of brown paper bag colored felt. So, and this is me showing you. So these big oval size shaped sequins, I stacked 3 in 1, and I'm going to do that again when I make the next version, and that's what they look like just by themselves. You can of course just stitch one on, but they just look so cool when there's 2 or 3 in a little high-rise stack. And so that's what I'm going to do with them. So here we go. Here is the jacket, and it is just the most adorable color. It's slightly mauve pink and it's just adorable. Actually, that aqua of the necklace looks really cute with it. Anyway, so the jacket pattern is Vogue 7975, and as I said, there is a video of that. But when I started my channel, I still had long COVID, so the camera work is not the greatest. So I'll link another Vogue 7975 video that's better. It's basically step by step making the same jacket, but just with a different tweed. And so I have all the beads, and let's have a look at the jacket. It's so pretty. And the beaded trim, as much as I loved it, you can see the silhouette of the jacket much clearer now. And it's just a really, really beautiful tweed. So I don't know, I was thinking that because it's got flecks of red and berry in there, so I was thinking either pink or reds and berry, but that aqua necklace looks amazing with it. So I have these tiny little aqua beads, so maybe them. I'm not sure. I'll have to just leave it hanging on the rack for a while before I decide. But anyway, so these beads, as I said, I'm going to recreate another jacket. But before I do that, I'm going to take the periwinkle ones out and the bright green ones out and use them for the Paris jacket. and the periwinkle ones and some pink ones into the other jacket. The seed beads are the ones I'm going to use on the pink base. And then I'll show you what I'm gonna, this is the recreation of the jacket I just pulled apart, will be the brown paper bag jacket. And I know it looks kind of weird, but it's just gonna, and I have this bag of love hearts, so maybe I'll use them on the jacket, on the pink fluffy tweed, maybe. Who knows? Anyway, so next episode, I've got out all my gold jackets and I put them on the rack because I know in January each year in Northern Hemisphere, it's really dark and cold. So a lot of people stay inside all month and make themselves a tweed jacket. I know because every January I get these really, really specific questions. So you can tell that lots of people are watching the how to make a Chanel jacket and they're sort of following along. So I just thought I'd give you some inspiration of all the different types of jackets I've made. So I got out some gold ones, and that will probably be the next episode because I have to cut out some more jackets, probably Burda 6123, but it's going to take me a bit to make that jacket from start to finish and make a video about it. So yeah, gold jackets coming up, and then some actual jackets start to finish being made. Plus I'll do some more beading. Beading is so much fun. Carefully pulling apart this trim was good too, because my technique, I got to see how much my technique has improved, so that was interesting. Plus I got to play with all the colours, and it really is just like colouring in for adults doing beading. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you've been inspired to have a go at beading. I mean, if you make something and you don't like it, you just pull it apart and use the same beads over and over again. I think if I didn't have the excessive bead collection that I have, then I could quite happily just use a few handfuls of beads over and over again and just keep practicing my technique and not actually create anything to wear. I think that would be quite fun too. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and happy sewing and beading. I thought I would only have like 7 gold jackets, but then I got them out and there's a lot of gold jackets. My collection is kind of sort of very bling. Not that that's a bad thing.